If you like our content, please like, subscribe, and click the notification bell to get alerts when we introduce new videos.
Welcome to the demonstration series for the RUCKUS Analytics Cloud Service for Network Intelligence and Service Assurance. The videos in this series will describe the various views, services, and capabilities of the RUCKUS Analytics platform. In this video, I'll describe the data presented in the Switch Details Report dashboard. So let's get started. Here I am logged into RUCKUS Analytics, and the first thing to know about Switch Details Report is that it can be accessed two different ways. One method is more direct and the other is more functional. The direct method is used by navigating to and expanding Report on the left side pane, then clicking on the Switch Details link. This will open up the Switch Details page. On this page, you'll be required to enter a switch's MAC address. The MAC address must be entered hexadecimally with colons between each byte, as shown here. No other format will be accepted. Once a valid MAC address is entered, you'll be taken to the Switch Details report for that device. The more common method to access a switch's details will more likely be from either the Analytics view or from another report, because the fact is you probably will only access this report if there's a legitimate reason derived from Analytics or from something you see in another report. So let's navigate to the Wired Network report. I'll go ahead and navigate and select a larger time range from the filter at the top of the page. So pretty much anywhere in this report where you see a switch name, you can click on it and it'll take you to the switch details report for that device. So from the top switches by traffic tile here, I'm going to select one of the switches. After all of that, here we are at the switch details report. This report, as its name implies, provides details about one specific switch in your network. It combines much of the data displayed in the other available reports and filters that data so it's specific to this single selected switch. Like the other RUCKUS Analytics report, this report is broken up into tiles. So let's take a closer look at the various tiles available in this report. At the top left is the summary tile. It provides basic details about the switch, including the IP address, MAC address, serial number, as well as the switch's current status and uptime. Just to the right of that is the details tile. This tile contains more details about the specific switch, including its hierarchy in the network, from the cluster all the way down to the switch level. It also contains the switch model number, firmware version, stacking details, and detailed controller information. Below those tiles, we have the resource utilization tile. It displays the CPU, memory, and power over Ethernet utilization percentages for your switch. The colored squares allow you to select which of these metrics to plot on the graph, and the drop-down here gives you the ability to change the duration of each plot point on the graph. Depending on the range of time specified, this may allow granularity of minutes all the way up to weeks or months. Additionally, passing your mouse over any of the graph's plot points will display the details for the selected metrics for that chosen duration. These options and behaviors are common in most of the graphs shown in this presentation. Next, we have the top ports by traffic tile. It displays the ports that have generated the largest volume of traffic over the specified time period in both the donut chart and graph formats. Passing your mouse over the ports in the donut chart shows the total traffic for each port. The graph on the right shows traffic over time at specific intervals. There's a drop-down that allows you to adjust the granularity of the graph. And within the graph, the squares allow selection or deselection of ports to display in the graph. The colors of the squares correspond to the colors on the donut chart. Then selecting the table view displays the same data in a table format. You can sort data on the table based on any of the metrics by clicking on the header for the desired column. By default, it displays the top 10 ports by traffic, but this can be changed with the drop-down. Additionally, you can use the gear icon to modify which columns are displayed and can increase the number of rows to display per page. Next up, we have the traffic trend graphs. There are two different graphs in this tile. First, you have the traffic by usage graph. This graph plots absolute throughput. In the traffic by usage graph, you can select or deselect which lines to plot by clicking on the colored squares. The options are transmitted traffic, total traffic, and received traffic. The next graph displays average traffic rate by usage. This displays similar data to the previous graph, except this one deals with averages, not absolute traffic values. With both graphs, when you pass the mouse over a plot point, an information box is displayed containing the details for the selected metrics at that specific time period. Additionally, there are two drop-downs available that apply to both graphs in this tile. The Filter Ports drop-down allows you to select specific ports to display in the graph. You can select individual ports by clicking on them, as well as quickly select or deselect all the ports with a single button. Then you have the duration dropdown that allows you to adjust the granularity of the graphs. Again, changes here apply to both the traffic by usage graph and the average traffic rate by usage graph. Next up is the LDP Neighbor List table. It provides details for devices connected to this switch that support the link layer discovery protocol. A row is represented for each LLDP neighbor, which can be sorted by any metric by simply clicking on the column's headers. You can use the gear icon to modify the columns that are displayed, and again can increase the number of rows to display per page. The last tile in this report is the uptime history tile. It shows when this switch has been up or down over the different time periods. This graph gives you the ability to change the duration of each plot point on the graph by selecting it from the drop-down, and passing your mouse over any of the graph's plot points will display the details for the selected metric over the selected time period. If you've reviewed the previous videos in this series, you may have noticed that many of the items displayed in this report look similar. That's because this report is pretty much a grouping of several other reports, including the wired network report and the switch report. What makes this report valuable is that it combines each of these reports and specifically tailors them for this individual switch. As with most reports in RUCKUS Analytics, this report can be exported to a comma-separated CSV file or to a PDF. Selecting the CSV option contains all the raw data that populates each of the tables, graphs, and data points, combined into a single zip file. The PDF export output looks very similar to the screen we've been viewing, with each of the current tiles, graphs, and tables displayed in the same graphical format. So this completes this presentation describing the RUCKUS Analytics Switch Details Report dashboard. I hope you found this information useful, and hope you return for more of the presentations in this RUCKUS Analytics series. Thank you for taking the time to view this presentation.